This occurred in mid-October 2023. These are real images of a Russian helicopter on fire. According to reports, it was shot down by Ukrainian anti-aircraft missiles just a few kilometers from the front line, a conventional shootdown, like so many others that happen in this war. But 2 years later, in November 2025, Ukraine would do something that would completely change the rules of the game. These are the images that prove it. You are seeing a Ukrainian operator piloting a drone 200 kilometers inside Russia, over the Rostov region. He is not looking for a refinery. He is not looking for a fuel depot. He is hunting. The target is moving at 250 kilometers per hour. The drone only at 150. Every military manual would say this is impossible, but nobody told the Ukrainians. What happened that day left military experts around the world asking the same question. How the hell did they manage to do that? Let me show you. November 22nd, 2025. Ukraine's Special Operations Forces publish a statement on Telegram that would leave Russia in shock. They said, "We're changing the rules of the game. Now we hunt." For the first time, a Russian Mi-8 helicopter was shot down in the air by a deep strike drone. And along with the statement, they did something that no army usually does. They showed the footage. 25 seconds of video captured from the drone's point of view. First, just fields. Then, the helicopter appears, flying calmly. The drone gets closer, adjusts its trajectory, and then the video cuts off. Now, if it were Russia making this claim, everyone would be doubting it. But Ukraine brought evidence. Russian military channels, the so-called milbloggers, who are usually very close to the armed forces, confirmed the loss. A channel called Fighter Bomber, run by a former Russian pilot, confirmed what happened, saying, "Unfortunately, it's true. About the Mi-8, this confirmation is critical. Because what happened there wasn't luck. It was planning. It was innovation. And it was something that physics said was impossible." The reason is simple. Take a long-range drone like the one Ukraine used. It was designed for a specific type of mission. You program the coordinates of a fixed target, a refinery, a military depot, a bridge. The drone takes off, flies hundreds of kilometers, and hits the target. But a helicopter is totally different. The Mi-8 doesn't stay still. It moves at 250 kilometers per hour. It can maneuver, and the pilot can see threats approaching. Now, look at the other side of the equation. The drone that Ukraine used flies at about 150 kilometers per hour. It's slower, much slower. Logically, a slow predator can't catch a fast prey. It's the same reason why a turtle doesn't hunt rabbits. But there's more. There's distance. We're talking about 200 kilometers inside Russian territory. At that depth, Russia has air defense systems, radars, and constant patrols. It should be completely safe for Russian operations. For more than 100 years of aerial warfare, one thing has always been true. The deep rear is a sanctuary. It's where you keep your supplies, where your pilots rest, where you operate freely. No one expected that a slow drone could threaten this area, much less shoot down a moving helicopter. Then comes the unsettling question. How did they do it? The answer lies in the weapon Ukraine used. And the story of that weapon is as unlikely as the shootdown itself. Experts point out that the drone used was the FP-1, manufactured by a company called Firepoint. And this is where the story gets really interesting. Before the war, Firepoint didn't manufacture weapons. They worked in entertainment. They were a casting agency, helping to find locations and actors for movies and television shows. They even worked on a romantic comedy starring Volodymyr Zelensky. Yes, the current president of Ukraine. When Russia invaded in February 2022, that film production team made a radical decision. Within 48 hours, they completely pivoted their operations, from casting actors to manufacturing combat drones. And we're not talking about sophisticated drones made in high-tech factories. On the contrary, the FP1 is built with materials you would find at a hardware store and hobby shops. Plywood, foam, carbon fiber used in race cars, commercial electronic components. But don't be fooled by the simplicity of the materials. The FP1 is an impressive machine. It has a two-cylinder engine which allows for a range of 1,600 kilometers. It can carry a warhead of 50 to 60 kilos. And here's the secret. It has two guidance systems. The first is Global Positioning System and Inertial Navigation. Like any long-range drone, you program the coordinates and it flies there. But the second guidance system is what makes the FP1 special. It has a Starlink satellite link. This means that an operator can see through the drone's camera in real time and control it manually, even hundreds of kilometers away. And there's more. In the last 500 meters of the flight, the FP1 can activate a computer vision system. I'm talking about artificial intelligence that recognizes shapes and objects. Even if all signals are cut off, the onboard computer has already memorized the shape of the target and continues the pursuit on its own. Ukraine is producing about 100 of these units per day, 3,000 per month, and each one costs only $55,000. Hold on to that information, it will make sense soon. Why? We still haven't answered the main question. After all, how did something slow catch something fast? The answer, well, it's not just in the technology, it's in the tactics. And those tactics were brilliant. On the night of November 21st to 22nd, Ukraine didn't launch just one drone. They launched dozens, maybe even hundreds. Many of these drones were decoys, cheaper models programmed to fly straight toward refineries, military bases, and fuel depots. In several regions of Russia, Russian radars detected this swarm of drones. Chaos broke out and air defense systems were activated. And Russia did exactly what Ukraine expected. It sent Mi-8 helicopters to intercept the drones. This has become a standard Russian tactic, using helicopters equipped with machine guns to hunt drones visually, saving expensive anti-aircraft missiles. But here's the trick. Among the decoys were the hunters, FP1 drones, equipped with satellite links and cameras, piloted by Special Forces operators. These drones didn't follow pre-programmed routes. They waited. The military calls this loitering, which means waiting until the Russian helicopters came up to hunt the decoys. When the Mi-8 took off from its base to intercept the drones, it became the target. The Ukrainian operator, watching through the FP1's camera via satellite, maneuvered the drone into an ambush position, probably from a higher altitude or from a side angle. And then the chase began. Now you might be thinking, but isn't the helicopter faster? Yes, it is. But speed isn't everything. The Mi-8 pilot, focused on spotting small drones while flying low, was hunting, but didn't expect to be hunted. When he finally noticed the FP1, if he even noticed it, it was already too late. And here's another factor. The helicopter was equipped with an electronic warfare system called Multi-K. This system was designed to jam the radio signals of Ukrainian drones, those small first-person drones that Ukraine uses so much on the battlefield, South Africa. The Multic works very well against these drones because they use standard radio frequencies. But the FP1 is different. It uses the Starlink satellite link, which means the signal doesn't go horizontally to an operator on the ground. It goes vertically to a satellite in space. The helicopter's jammer, which emits signals to the sides, can't effectively block a narrow beam pointed upwards. And even if it could, even if it completely cut off the signal, there's still that computer vision system. In the last 500 meters, the artificial intelligence takes over. The computer has already scanned the shape of the helicopter, already calculated its speed and trajectory. At 200 kilometers per hour, 500 meters are covered in 9 seconds, less than 10 seconds to impact. The pilot didn't even have time to react. The explosion was devastating. 50 kilos of high fragmentation explosives. It probably hit the tail rotor or the engines. The Mi-8 went down. Everyone on board died. Let's discuss the numbers, as they change everything about this operation. A Mi-8 helicopter costs $15 million. That's not counting the crew training, which takes years. Not to mention the weapons and equipment on board. An extremely valuable military asset, the FP-1 drone, which destroyed it. $55,000. Now, do the math with me. That's a cost ratio of 272 to 1. For every dollar Ukraine spends on an FP-1, Russia risks losing $272 worth of equipment. As you can see, this is completely unsustainable. Now, imagine the following scenario. Ukraine launches 100 FP-1 drones in one night. The total cost, $5.5 million. Russia manages to shoot down 90 of them. An impressive success rate of 90%. But the 10 that get through manage to shoot down 10 helicopters. The cost for Russia, $150 million. That's not counting the crews and the psychological impact. Even with a success rate of only 10%, Ukraine comes out ahead. And this math is forcing Russia to completely rethink its air strategy. Because now Russian pilots know that whenever they take off, even 200 kilometers behind the lines, there could be an FP-1 waiting. This creates hesitation. It creates fear. And fear, my friends, it's a factor that can undermine anything, even military operations. The missions also become more complex. The helicopters have to fly lower, where they're more vulnerable to other threats, or higher, where they're less effective. Missions are canceled due to drone alerts. The rear, once a sanctuary, is now dangerous. And the impact goes beyond helicopters. This technology and these tactics can be adapted to hunt transport planes, reconnaissance planes, even jets in certain situations. Ukraine just proved that the concept works. Now it's a matter of refining and scaling. And in fact, they're already scaling up. Firepoint didn't stop at FP-1. They're also behind the development of FP-5. Maybe you know it by its code name Flamingo. And this is no longer a drone. It's a cruise missile. It has a range of 3,000 kilometers, high subsonic speed, almost transonic. Its warhead is over 1,000 kilograms. If the FP-1 allows Ukraine to reach Rostov, the Flamingo will allow it to reach the strategic bomber bases in the Arctic, the tank factories in the Urals, the industrial and military heart of Russia, and production is already underway. According to reports, the goal is to produce 1 Flamingo missile per day, the same philosophy as the FP-1, quantity and cost effectiveness. What we're seeing now is something incredible, a fundamental change in aerial warfare. For decades, the paradigm was that whoever had the most advanced jets and the most expensive missiles controlled the sky. But Ukraine is proving that there's another way. Cheap autonomous systems, mass-produced, controlled by artificial intelligence and satellite links. You no longer need a $100 million sixth-generation fighter jet to challenge air superiority. You need thousands of smart drones costing $50,000 each. And when Russia destroys one, you've already built 3 new ones. The Pentagon, in fact, is paying attention to this. The United States Replicator program, which aims to produce thousands of autonomous systems to confront China, is a direct response to the lessons from Ukraine. NATO is rewriting air defense doctrines. Because the sky no longer belongs only to jets and helicopters, it also belongs to drones. And while military analysts around the world study what happened that day, one thing is certain. November 22, 2025, was the day air warfare changed forever. The day when a slow plywood drone, controlled by an operator hundreds of kilometers away, proved that intelligence and strategy can beat speed and raw firepower. A secure rear no longer exists, and Russia is learning this the hard way. Now, tell me something. Do you think that, in the future, war will be dominated by cheap and smart drones? Or will there still be room for expensive manned fighters and helicopters? Leave your opinion in the comments. If this content added value for you, share it with someone who is interested in military strategy and technology. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. See you next time.